Good afternoon. Welcome to 13 News at noon. I'm Dustin Grove, and we begin on the Near East Side of Indianapolis, where a 17-year-old boy was shot and killed last night. A 14-year-old remains in the hospital today in critical condition. This happened just before 7 last night at a home on Wallace Avenue. Here's a look at the scene. This is near 10th and Emerson. Neighbors tell us the teens lived there. Both were taken to Eskenazi Hospital, but Alexander Salgado Bedoya didn't survive. Police have not said yet whether they have any suspects in this case. Of course, we'll let you know as soon as we learn more on that. We're also learning from Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita that his team is actively taking part in a multi-state lawsuit against big tech companies like Instagram and Facebook to protect young people from social media's negative impacts. That suit is granting the state a guaranteed settlement of $296 million, but it could be up to $419.5 million. This is part of an overall $17 billion settlement with Meta. It resolves allegations saying the company knowingly designed and implemented features that are harmful to children and teenagers. A big story we're watching today is the weather. We're tracking storm chances this evening, so could it be anything severe?
I think we'll probably have a few severe thunderstorm warnings before this thing wraps up. Now, whether or not when the line gets into the metro area is still going to be severe, that's still debatable. But I think a better chance probably north and northwest. So let me give you the rundown. Nothing to worry about right now, though we do have a couple little showers that have popped up on radar. I'll show you in just a moment. We've got you at 80 in Bloomington, 78 here in Indy, and 73, a little bit of cloud cover there in Bunker Hill. At this hour. There you go, a little quick moving shower, nothing severe with it, doesn't really have much lightning if at all. Overall, we're going to have, and as we told you about this yesterday, a lot of dry time for today. 78 in Shelbyville as well as Indy, 80 right now in Bloomington. But what you have definitely probably felt if you've been outside, dew points are creeping up. Yesterday we were in the 50s, today we're in the middle 60s, and you take that map and compare it to 24 hours ago, some spots are over 10 degrees higher on the dew point, so it is more humid. That's one part of the ingredient. The other is going to be this front that's coming now just south of Lake Michigan, at least close to it. And so the daytime heating with that boundary is what puts in place the severe threat. Storm initiation will be along that front. Looks like around between 4 and 5 o'clock here across north central Indiana. And then that will gradually work down. By the time it gets into the metro area, likely going to be just after 7 p.m. and toward I-70 around 8 o'clock. It's actually south of I-70 by 10 p.m. This is a narrow window of time. Few of these storms will be severe before they run their course. Hail up to maybe quarter size or a little bit greater, maybe some 60-mile-per-hour wind. After this, we're shutting down the rain and we eventually turn up the heat when we could hit 90 in the 7-day forecast.
All right, we'll see you then. Sean, thank you. NIPSCO now says most everybody finally has their power back on in northwest Indiana. 2 weeks later. It's been 2 weeks that they've been in the dark. We've been following this situation closely since August 11th and have heard from people in Gary, a lot of people about the impact since the storms hit. Some people without running AC or refrigerators, storing their food, others having to travel across state lines to get groceries. Gary is one of the last places to get its power back. NIPSCO says crews have been working around the clock these last couple of weeks to rebuild the infrastructure there. Central Indiana is still dealing with the aftermath of flooding. Last night, Northview Christian Church hosted an open house to help connect neighbors with critical resources like financial help or food. If you happen to miss last night's event, there is another one planned for tomorrow. The Rally for Relief is a drive-through donation event. It's happening at the Lucas Estate from 4 until 7, and we've got more details online if you'd like to take a look. Happening today, Gleaners is hosting an emergency mobile distribution event. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett says the goal here is to support people impacted by flooding. It is at the Indiana Math and Science Academy North, which is at 74th and Keystone, from 5 to 7. Again, that's taking place tonight, starting at 5 o'clock, runs through 7 there on the near north side. Also new today, FEMA has approved Governor Braun's request for a major disaster declaration for Indiana. State and federal officials are going to be providing a joint briefing later today with details on next steps. But the question is, what does this declaration mean? Well, here you go. In short, it means more individual and public assistance from the federal government is on the way. The type of help available is based on where you live. 21 counties have been approved for individual and household assistance. 11 have been approved for public assistance to essentially help local governments with emergency cleanup and infrastructure repairs. We have a county-by-county breakdown of what's available online. Also, there is a new texting tool we just found out about a few minutes ago to help guide you through the application process and what help is available. Through Indiana 211, you can now text IN211 help to 211 just to get started. And we've got much more information for you on WTHR.com/flooding, because I know that's a whole lot. So just head to WTHR.com/flooding. We've got all the resources and links for you right there. Other news, Metro Police are still asking for the community's help 2 days after a baby was found behind a shopping center. And it's the second time an infant has been found abandoned in Indianapolis in under a month. In this most recent case, the infant was found in a carrier off East Thompson Road on the southeast side. The baby was found, again, in a carrier. Now, police want to find the baby's mother, who they believe intentionally left the baby. They're stressing that there are options for mothers who cannot care for their children that don't involve prosecution. Indiana, for example, has safe haven laws and safe haven baby boxes where moms in crisis can safely and anonymously surrender their newborns. IMPD didn't share the baby's age or gender just yet. They are reviewing surveillance video in the area and are asking anybody who has information to come forward. And that baby, we should say, is okay, safe. We just learned this morning that for the second year in a row, tuition at all Indiana's public colleges and universities going to be frozen again. This means tuition and mandatory fees for in-state undergrad students will stay the same for the 26-27 academic year. And some of those schools include IU, Purdue, and Ball State. This is the first time ever all 15 of Indiana's public colleges and universities have done this 2 years in a row. Now to the push for safer interstates. Congressman Jefferson Shreve says he has a plan to improve truck safety across the nation. Shreve explained his proposed Verify Act to local trucking leaders yesterday. He says this bill would prevent deadly crashes like one in Jay County, which involved a foreign driver. The bill would require the federal government to update the immigration status within 24 hours so states don't issue a license to someone here illegally. Shreve says right now it can take up to 4 days before states can see updated immigration information. Well, it is the talk of the nation, the death of the Queen of Country, Dolly Parton. And it seemed to come so suddenly, didn't it? Governor Mike Braun is now ordering flags to fly at half staff in her memory. From Jolene to 9 to 5 and more than 40 years of Dollywood. Dolly Parton gave us the soundtrack to generations of lives. But the songs are really only part of the story. Dolly launched the Imagination Library back in 1995, sending free age-appropriate books to children from birth to 5. And here in Indiana, the Shepherd Community Center first brought the program to the Near East Side. Then about a year ago, it expanded to all of Marion County. And back in April, Indiana First Lady Maureen Braun announced every child under 5 here in Indiana would be eligible to get a book. Dolly Parton spent her life putting songs in our heads and books in the hands of our children. Now her family is asking people to help keep that legacy alive. They're asking for donations to the Imagination Library in lieu of flowers. The life and legacy of Dolly Parton is available right now on our free streaming app. You can find it on demand anytime.